Good morning. Morning warm up today. So I was thinking about this. I was listening to a podcast this morning talking about stress, and it kind of dawned on me right now, right, with what's going on with the COVID-19 and all the stuff going on. We're in election year, and we just Trump just banned travel for France or for Europe to the United States. We got a lot of stuff going on, right? So there's a lot of maybe anxiety that's happening right now, and maybe there's some stress that's going on. And a couple things that occurred to me is that, when things are good, when things are going well, right? It's easier to deal with things that stress us out. When things aren't going so great, that's when it's really critical for you to really be conscious of your thinking and what you're doing. So I thought it might be helpful for me just to share a couple things that I learned with my coach in terms of stress and anxiety. So the first thing that I do when I feel that I'm in a stressful situation, and by the way, let's be honest, anxiety leads to stress, stress leads to a compromised immune system because stress breaks down our cells and isn't good for our body. And so we want to work with that, right? If we want to be healthy, we want to be in that state of ability to deal with infection, and if we're not feeling well, for our bodies to heal, we got to be able to remove stress. So the first thing I do is this: when I feel stressful, the first thing I ask myself is, the stress or the anxiety that I'm feeling, right, is it real? And what I mean by that is it something that's absolutely happening, or is it something that I'm creating in my mind and projecting what might happen, right? And if it's real, then I move to the next step. If it's not real, then I really have to ask myself, why am I stressing about this? I'm creating it, right? In my own head, I'm creating it. Number two, if it's real, then I have to ask myself, can I control it? Is it something in my control? Is it something that I physically can control and change? And I have to ask myself that question. If the answer is yes, then I say, okay, what do I need to do, right? What can I do? What's the positive action I can take to move forward so that I can eliminate that anxiety? If I can't control it, then I have to ask myself, why am I worrying about it? If I can't control it and it's out of my control, I can't worry about it, right? I can't have anxiety over it. And then at that point, what I have to do is I say, okay, what are the routines and the strategies I have to get myself back into a balanced brain, into a rational state, so that I can move forward and be positive? And a couple things that I do. Number one is I get out outside, right? I go hiking, I go exercise, I go do something to increase, change the chemical makeup in my body so that I can deal with that stress and that anxiety. And one of the best ways for me to do it is to get out outdoors. That's one thing to do. Or take your mind off something. Go do something you're passionate about. Sometimes I'll just go play my drums for an hour, right? And just let my brain just soak it in, right? And those types of things. So think about that. So real quickly, right? Is it real? Can you control it? Yes or no? And if you can't, what are your strategies to get yourself back in that emotional mindset? And there's all kinds of things right now, and I think we can be fearful, or we can choose to look forward. And I got to tell you, there's positivity happening as well. I mean, it's the little bitty things that you recognize every day. So, for example, today I drove into work. Right? There's no traffic. That is positive. Wow, that commute is just cut in half. That was awesome, right? That's a great thing. The other thing I want to say, two other things I think that are important is the other one is this, is I know that specifically in our area, we have people that are being asked not to gather. But one thing that I'll tell you, there's small businesses, local businesses that, this type of thing affects them. And I would say that if you can, still visit those local and those smaller businesses and help them through this time, because they're on really thin margins, and the more that we can visit those establishments and help support those establishments, it helps them through these times, because all of this will pass, right? And the question is, who comes out on the other end? And we can help support each other. That's one of the things I want to point out. The other one is this, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this, but I do work in the world of real estate, and what amazes me is that there's a lot of people that are just going on with their normal business, but there's some people that aren't. And I was on a coaching call the other day, and somebody was afraid about having an open house, and so the agent thought out of the box and said, what if we did a live virtual open house for you? And they said, oh, that's a great idea. You guys think out of the box. If you're in the business, right? What can you still do? What are the things you can do to help your clients to move forward? Because here's what I'll tell you: if you're not in real estate, but you're thinking about is if you're thinking about selling or buying a house right now, and you're going to be doing that, you guys, it is an amazing opportunity right now. Interest rates are at an all-time low. We have, if you're a seller, right, we have a lot of demand right now. There's a lot of buyer demand going on. It's a phenomenal time. And I think what happens is a lot of times we see this fear and anxiety all around us because it's just overwhelming us right now because it's everywhere. The news is just, thriving on it. And we start to cocoon and we stick our heads in the sand. You guys, are you living in an infinite game or a finite game? And what I mean by that is, are you making decisions, right? Are you making decisions today that are forecasting for the future? Right? Are you looking out? So we're going to be here. We're going to get through this situation as well, and then we want to come out on the other side. And are you capitalizing on the opportunities that exist today? Because no matter what's going on, there's always opportunity. But if you're in that fearful anxiety mindset, you are not going to see them. Right? Step out of it. Figure out how to get out of it. Figure out how to move forward and keep your life going, because we're going to be here today. We're going to be here tomorrow. And if you're in that finite game, meaning how is it impacting you right now, you're not going to benefit from the opportunities that are around you. If you're in that infinite game, meaning, hey, you know what? It's a long game, and I want to be here for the long game, you're going to be in a much better place. So that's my warm-up for today. You guys have a great one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.